How you doing today, folks? So I've got a whole bunch of comments in regards to this knife. A lot of you want to see a review. I'm actually very happy to review this knife. This has been in my pocket every single day since I've got it. I've had other knives in my pocket as like secondaries or stuff to pull out for review, but this has been absolutely my joy carry. So just take a moment to appreciate this crazy contouring, sculpting, fit and finish, amazing PVD blade, and all that other stuff. And yeah, man, this is just absolutely fantastic. So as far as specs, this is again a full size Medford Marauder with this massively thick 2.6 or 0.26 inch blade stock. So this is an overall length of 9.25 inches. So definitely a full size knife. The blade length is 4.25 inches. That's going from here to here, by the way. As far as the actual cutting edge, it's 3.625 inches because it has this very generous finger troll here, which to me is, I love it in terms of ergonomics. I'm always a big fan of like having more blade, so I kind of wish it wasn't there, but it is there, and I actually really enjoy it, so it is what it is. Again, this is a 0.26 inch thick blade. It is a hollow ground blade though, so despite the massively thick blade, it does not have a massively thick edge. This actually is fantastic in terms of cutting. This is a CPM 3V steel. Fantastic steel. It is a tool steel, so you definitely have to oil it and do other things like of that nature to maintain it. Even in this PVD coating, my job, I sweat a lot, and I've rusted M390 and some other stuff before, so I definitely EDCI everything that goes into my pocket, so I definitely put a whole lot EDCI on this exposed edge right here, and even on the PVD coating, which probably is unnecessary, but better safe than sorry. It is a drop point plain edge. This is not a Tonto. A lot of people like the Medford Tontos or whatever. I'm more of a drop point guy personally. And as I stated previously, this is a PVD coated blade, and this coating is absolutely fantastic. This thing is held up so well. I've only had this knife for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks now, but I've used it heavily, and I've actually tried to get this coating off just by beating on it and seeing what happens. And as you can see, it's still there. It's very much still there. As far as the handle goes, we have this kind of very eccentric skull crusher glass breaker pommel thing. For me, this is just aesthetics. I'm not going to use this to bash anyone's head in. That's just not a good idea. But if you wanted to, for whatever reason, first off, you need help. Unless you're an operator. If you're not an operator, you need help. And I hope you get that help. But if that is your intention, then it'll work for that, I guess. It has this very nice proprietary 6-shooter pivot. A lot of people have issues with Medford using proprietary pivots and screws and stuff. If you're going to do it, at least do it with some flair. And I think the 6-shooter actually looks fantastic, so I'm not too mad at it. As far as the action, I talked a lot about the action when I first got this, how it was so stiff I couldn't open it up. It was a two-handed opener. It's actually broken in wonderfully. You do have to use quite a bit of wrist when you spidey flick it, but this is a very thick blade, and this thing locks up like crazy. This thing is not wanting to come out. And again, I'm just holding on to the blade, so there's nothing actually holding it there. If I did that with, I don't know, say this the CKF, it does the same thing, but 1 second. Never mind. Got a bad example. Anyways, I kind of like opening knives like that, where I grab it right here and I whip it and it pops open, and then I just do it like that. That's not really an option with the Medford, or at least not right now. But as far as the whole spidey flick thing, again, you kind of use a little bit of wind up, but the blade is so big and the knife is so heavy, it really, I understand why it's like that, and it actually feels really good. You don't actually have to use wrist. I wanted to clarify that. I have issues doing the spidey flick in general, but I've had a couple buddies of mine handle this, and they spidey flicked it with no wrist at all, with no issue at all. So more power to them. Personally, I can't do that. But the action has worked up wonderfully. Again, this is only after a couple of weeks of carry. So, I'm looking forward to see how this thing ages. If you want to take a look at my thumb, I've developed quite a bit of calluses on it and kind of tore it up. This is starting to break in very nicely, as you can see. But for a while there, it was very, very stiff lockup. It hurt like hell to disengage, but it's getting there. Medford is known for wanting you to have to break in the knife, which isn't really a bad thing at all. It kind of makes me love the knife more. The more it smoothens, the more it, the nicer it gets, the more everything kind of clicks, the more I click with the knife. So I actually prefer it this way. I think it's actually one of the reasons why it's one of my top carries, because I just have sort of a bond with this thing at this point in time. So in terms of the handle, this is obviously a full kind of titanium sculpt. If you wanted to get this direct from Medford, you'd be looking at between $1,200 to $1,500. So definitely not a cheap knife, but it sure is pretty. So we're going a couple size comparisons. We have the forgot the name. We have the Medford Praetorian. This to me is sort of a smaller knife. I know people think these knives are huge. In my hands, it's not. My pinky hangs off the end. So that's a thing. The Marauder is not the case, but pretty similar in terms of size. I just think the ergonomics and the way the handle swoops down just fits a little bit better for bigger hands. We also have I'm going to put out the Custom Knife Factory Thief 23, because you all seem to love this knife so much. Definitely bigger than the Thief. I don't fucking know how you say that. We also have the CKF one-off Suka, I don't know how you say that. The Russian knife. Definitely bigger than the Russian knife. I feel bad saying that, but I don't know what else to call it. We have the SOCOM Elite. Still very much bigger than the SOCOM Elite. Where are the staples at? Oh yeah, here we go. A Benchmade full-size Griptilian and a Spider. So we have the Benchmade full-size Griptilian. Definitely much, much bigger than the Griptilian. And we also have the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, which again, it is much, much bigger than the Spyderco PM2. The Marauder, for all intents and purposes, is a fucking huge knife. But despite that, a lot of people, when they see this knife, they handle it, they hold it. A lot of people want to see it. I hand it to them like this. They feel the weight, and they're like, what the fuck, Kyle? Like, why do you have this? And I tell them, open it up. And they open it up, and then they hold it again, and they're like, oh. You can really see this clarity dawn on their eyes when they actually is deployed and they hold it, and they feel that perfect balance and that solid in-hand feel and those amazing ergonomics. Medford, for me, really knocked this one out of the park. I wasn't a huge fan of Medford. I got the Praetorian because I was just curious how far they've come over the years. And then the Marauder, something I was kind of more, again, curious about. But this knife has made me a genuine fan of Medford. I love this knife. Does it have its problems? Yes. Does it detract from what it is to me? No. I think this is absolutely fantastic. Again, I've probably let 40, 50 people handle this knife, and every single one of them is this exact same response. This thing is too big, it's too heavy, it's too awkward. They open it up, and you can just feel that full-handed tool feel. This knife wants to be used. It's quality. That the balance is perfect, and everybody loves it. I have gotten ridiculous offers for this knife, but I'm sorry, folks, it's just not for sale. I had one guy offered to pay me about 3 times what it's actually worth, and no. I appreciate it, but I love this knife. So Medford is definitely a polarizing person. People either like him or they don't. All my interactions with Greg have been very, very positive. I have no complaints with him as a person. That being said, there's this weird stigma going on, right? Where everybody like, oh, this knife maker is a bad person. I don't want his product. Call me an asshole, but I don't really care. If it fits a good product and everything fits well, I'm gonna buy it. I might buy it secondhand, so I don't fully support the maker, but I'm still not going to deny myself an amazing product because some person's an asshole. Mind you, I think Greg's a polarizing person. I don't personally think he's an asshole. I think he's a very direct person, a very kind of respectable person, very honest person. And nowadays, people think that makes you into an asshole. People call me an asshole all the time because I'm a very blunt person. But I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like that's being disrespectful to people if I'm like, hey, I feel this way, but I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear because that makes to where we all agree. And as much as I would like everyone to get along and to be happy, I'm just not going to lie for your benefit. I'm just not. Me and my wife have gotten into I don't know how many different fights about that over the years, but that's just how I feel, and that's very much how Greg is as well. Like, I don't think he tries to offend anybody or hurt anybody. I just think he's a blunt person, and he's not going to bullshit you, which, me personally, I very much respect that. But as far as the knife goes, man, I don't really care if Greg was a complete piece of shit. I love this knife. It's a fantastic knife. And I confidently say this is my favorite. I have a whole bunch of knives that I've posted a collection picture on Instagram. I've gotten maybe 15 knives since I posted that picture of over 100 knives in the EDC chest. I've gotten more. I'm getting rid of some. I've gotten more instead. And man, this is my favorite. Just by far. In terms of an overall score, it's going to be a 95. It's not going to be 100 because this lockup is still very stiff. As you can see, my thumb is still whooped. Can I disengage it now? Yes. It's still very hard. I really would love to be able to open this one-handed with like just a thumb roll. I don't think that's going to happen. I know people who can, but that's after having their knives for a very long time. Greg is very much about two-handed deployment and lockup. So for that, I'm going to take this back for a second. If this knife was only for two-handed deployment, I would give it 100%. There's zero problems with this knife at all. If you're looking for that more fidget-friendly piece, or the very least one-handed deployment, I'm going to have to knock 5 points off of it. Now, you can very much deploy it one-handed. Again, flips up, drops down, and it actually has pretty good action. But again, this thing is destroying my thumb. My thumb has gotten stronger. I'm going to have calluses on it. But, it's something that really has to be mentioned, that for that piece alone, I kind of have to knock it out. Other than that, I do want to do one quick shout out. This clip is fantastic. I feel like Medfords don't get enough credit for their clips. The Medford Knife and Tool logo here, which is, MKT. If you're not a knife guy, you're not going to know what the hell that means. This isn't like something where it goes zero tolerance or some other stuff like that, which is very, very loud. This is actually pretty subtle. It's very nice. You're going to have a decent amount riding out of your pocket. But, people, you can easily throw your shirt over your pocket or something like that if you're worried about it. Me personally, I wear this thing high and proud. I don't care. I love this knife. I love what it stands for. I love the feeling of it. If someone has a problem with me having it on me, guess what? It's my legal right to carry it, so fuck off. Am I going to deploy this knife around small children? No. Am I going to go into a business atmosphere and pull this out? No. It's very much a polarizing piece, and I will have smaller knives for that. But if I'm by myself and I'm not in a place of business, then I pull this thing out, and I'm so happy about it. And yeah, I really just don't have anything bad to say about this knife. Again, besides the deployment issues, which technically are issues for me, not for Medford as a whole, because he has a certain ethos that he wants his knives to fall under. And that ethos, this knife's perfect. This knife's 100%. In terms of the whole EDC friendly thing or whatever, again, I'll give it a 95. To anybody who wants to get a hold of these knives, I recommend you go into a store or find a show or something like that, and handle one for yourself. Again, you're going to pick it up, you're going to feel it in the hand, and you're going to think to yourself, why? And again, you're going to deploy it, you're going to feel it, and you're going to just have that clarity moment where you're like, okay, I get it. That's what happened to me. It's happened to every other person I had handle this knife. Even my wife likes this knife, and she is not a knife person at all. So that should say a whole lot. Would she carry it? Probably not, because it's fucking huge and she wears leggings everywhere, but it's an option. Anyways, with all that being said, take care, folks. I love you all very, very much. Thank you for your time, your likes, subscribes, your comments. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. If not, no hard feelings. Carry on. Do what you do. As always, I love you all. Have a good day. And please do me just one favor and do the best you can to be a better person tomorrow than you are today. And I do promise you'll find your center in life. As always, please be kind to one another. I love you all very much and take care. Bye.